it's a show that I wish that I had revisited earlier than what we're doing now, because there's quite a bit to talk about with it. First of all, this happens a week, I think it's a week before Owen Hart tragically passes away. So that kind of, if that puts it into context as to where we are in like the timeline, we're about 1 week before Owen Hart passes away. And it shows how strange it is that, they would do two like pay-per-views so close together. But the reason why is because this show was only shown in the UK. It was only shown in the UK. Now, I'm sure there's people that have managed to get copies, and I'm sure, well, it's on the network, I know that much. So it's on the network. I'm sure there was, like, ways of getting copies in America. I don't know if it ever got released on, like, videotape over there or DVD over there. I know it was released over here, and, of course, it was on TV over here. But this is a UK-only WWF show from 1999. And what's also quite exciting about this show is the reason why they kind of do this show is because obviously the market's very big over here, but also they're trying to establish pay-per-views in the UK. Like, the UK doesn't really do pay-per-views, or it didn't do pay-per-views. Just wasn't really a thing. And so they were trying to get people used to paying extra for, like, special shows. Because all of our pay-per-views back in the day were just on Sky. Like, literally, kind of what they do with UFC now. You can just tune in and watch them. But these kind of pay-per-view shows, these special shows, they were now starting to be given, like, a special price, a pay-per-view price. And this was one of the events that WWE or WWF kind of launched with in the UK to help launch that kind of pay-per-view idea, that pay-per-view model. So, yeah, we're around 1999. It's a weird show as well. I mean, I've seen it, I think I've seen it about twice. I saw it around the time that it aired, and then they released it as part of being like a tagged classic. I think we've spoke about tag classics before. I wish I had one to hand to show you, but it's basically just a DVD. It's a DVD that's got two shows on. It's got two pay-per-views on, and they called them tagged classics. And they released, like, loads. They did all the 80s, most, if not all of the 90s. And then they started to get to the 2000s, and then the network came out. So because the network came out, they didn't carry it on. But these tag classics, they're so cool because it is just the shows. You don't get anything extra. But before the network, it was just so great to have them on the shelf. And it's like, do I want to watch WrestleMania 5? And you could get the WrestleMania 5. You know, they did like one at WrestleMania 1 and 2, WrestleMania 3 and 4, WrestleMania 5 and 6, and they bundled them together. This one was in one of those packs with Capital Carnage. So I remember that pack coming out, and I watched it as a part of that. So I've seen it a couple of times, but it's been a long, long time. A long, long time. And this is a show that I wish that we'd like spoken a bit more about because it's got a little bit of a house show kind of vibe to it. It's definitely not like a big WrestleMania kind of a show. That's why they always talk about SummerSlam being like, you know, the last big pay-per-view, because the ones that followed really were just they were just glorified house shows in a way. They were just glorified house shows. They still had great cards. And we've got like Kane, Triple H, Stone Cold. We've got Undertaker. On this card tonight, Edge and Christian on this card tonight. So it's a stacked card. It's in the UK. It's going to an era that we do not touch on. I mean, 99 for me is just one of the absolute worst years. 99, 2000s, they're just years that I'm not a fan of. They don't do it for me, but they do it for everyone else. Like, people love this era. People are crazy about this time. This just sparks like such emotion in people. They absolutely can't get enough of this era, which is great. I ain't got any issue with that. I mean, I'm pleased. Hence why we're here and we're doing it. And it's really interesting for me. Like, I will always go quite modern, or I will always go quite far back. So I'll go like 80s or early 90s or 2017. But anything around this kind of attitude era into ruthless aggression, to be honest, I just don't dig into it. I just really, it's not an era that I really ever go back to. So this is interesting for me on that front as well. So yeah, very cool. And it was Mr. Chadwick, yes, says you are welcome for the suggestion on this. Yes, it was a great suggestion. A great suggestion. I had a lot of great suggestions, actually. There was a lot of really, really good suggestions. The one big caveat that I was looking for, though, is I really didn't want it to be 3 hours long. And what's great about this, it's just over 2 hours as well. So not only is it UK-based, not only is it packed full of big names, not only do I think it's actually a really interesting show because of its history and, you know, it was UK only and there may be people out there that have never seen it. So not only do I think all that's in, but it comes in at just over 2 hours. I mean, every single flipping box has been ticked. So, yeah, I'm quite excited for this. I was going to do SummerSlam 92. I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? SummerSlam 92, this close to Clash at the Castle, makes perfect sense. Why would we not do that? Why didn't we do that? And that was absolutely, there was no doubt. I was even Googling images to get the thumbnail made, get the graphics made. Today was SummerSlam 92, done. And then I realized we've already done it. I realized then that it's one we've already done. It's already on the channel. We've already sat through that show and spoke about it and reviewed it and reacted to it. And it exists. It's out there. It's on the channel. We can't do it again, or we shouldn't do it again. We could have done it again, but we're not doing it again. We're doing something different. I'm quite excited about it. So, as we said, UK, loads of sense why we're doing it. Let's get the ball rolling. But I do want to jump over to David Paul, who says, I am horseback riding right now. I think that's something to do with sex. Weirdest location to watch one of your streams, ? Yeah, I mean, we can throw that out to the chat. That's probably a better one for like a UFC stream or the boxing stream where we had like a lot more. I don't expect many people to join us for this. I never expect many people to join us for the watch-alongs because I think they're very niche, aren't they? You know, people, if anyone's like me, you like to put on something that just plays in the background whilst you're doing other things. That's what I like to do. So I'm like, you know, finding images, creating thumbnails, like doing, I don't know, setting up the stream deck or setting up the new PC. And you don't want to do it in silence, so you just want something in the background. So watch-alongs. That takes a bit of work, doesn't it? 'Cause you've got to find the show, set up the show, watch the show, listen to what we're saying. It's just extra work. So I never expect many people to join us. But hey, this is a chilled Sunday stream. That's what this is. My voice is recovering. My eyes are sore. Obviously, it was a long day yesterday, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Whenever I'm feeling a bit like, a bit run down, I just think, wow, Leon Edwards, you absolute legend. And then I feel brilliant again. So exciting. What a moment. But we're not going to dwell on that. But David, shout out to you. Yes, if anyone is watching from somewhere interesting, then feel free to let David know. Right, okay, let's go, shall we? Let's go. We are on the network. I've already watched the advert. There is an advert at the start. Normally, when you go on to pay-per-views, there is an advert at the start. Just so you know, I do not care at all about what you want to talk about. If you want to focus on this show, which obviously we will be doing, but it doesn't bother me if people want to talk about what's happening in wrestling right now. Doesn't bother me if people want to talk about what happened in UFC last night. Doesn't bother me if people want to talk about boxing and the reaction to Joshua and his freak out. Doesn't matter to me if people want to talk about football, although I would say the football might be a little alienating, just because I don't know how many people here watch that. Equally, maybe you could say the same for UFC and boxing, but my point is, I don't mind what you want to talk about. This is, and let us never forget, a chilled Sunday stream, okay? So if you are ready then, I've watched the advert. Hopefully you've watched the advert. If you haven't watched the advert, watch the advert or watch it and then just catch back up with us. If you need to get to the exact time as to where I am, then there is a clock at the bottom. I've added the clock at the bottom. So here we go then. In 3, 2, 1, go. Yes. Yes. We are exactly in sync. There we go. Right. Hello, hello, hello. I'm watching from under my mother-in-law's bed. And father-in-law is in the house. I'm trapped for the night. It's my own fault, I guess, says Undercover Manager. Undercover Manager, shout out to you. Your reaction was amazing. You literally couldn't talk. I couldn't talk, James. What a moment last night was. I mean, you get those moments in sport, but I think with boxing and with UFC in particular, that, I suppose wrestling as well. Wrestling in particular is very good at it, that anything can happen at any moment, kind of thing. There's not, you don't get that really with tennis. Because with tennis, like the game's going, you can see where the game's going. I don't know if you really get it with cricket as well, that instant, oh my God. It's kind of like, it's only combat sports that can really deliver it. It's that kind of out of nowhere knockout moment. God, so good. So good. We're in Manchester, by the way. What No Mercy is this? It's UK. So, UK No Mercy. This is, I believe, the first No Mercy. We're at the Manchester Evening News Arena, but I don't know if that's what it was called at the time. This is the same place where, unfortunately, obviously, horrifically, that bomb went off during the Ariana Grande concert. That was in Manchester. That was at this arena. This is it back in 1999. Big crowd. We're looking at around 18,000. About 18,000, which in all fairness is just I can't say it's a normal house show, but if ever they do a house show tour, they will do Manchester, they will do this arena, and I would imagine it will sell out. So, yeah, this is big crowds here in the UK for and certainly in this era as well. 1999. We've got, I think, the corporate ministry about to make their way down. So, I actually don't have the card in front of me, I remember, and I checked it out every year. Leon deserved it so much, I felt the UFC messed him around for a while. Shane McMahon and the corporate ministry, here they are. So, in the corporate ministry, we got the likes of Undertaker. We've got the likes of Triple H. I can see China, Viscera. There's quite a few that are making their way down to the ring. Right, corporate ministry. There we go. It's just little things, man. It's crazy seeing like the railings. I can see the railings that are holding the people back. I love the WWF banners in front of the Union Jack flag. In the those banners, they don't even have those banners anymore, do they? They used to do that all the time. All the time at all the big shows, they used to have those two banners, and I don't think they do it anymore. They should bring that back. Triple H should bring that back. He should bring that back, the two angled banners at the top. Oh my God. Do it, Triple H. If you are watching this, because I know you are a fan of the channel, bring them back. I always wanted one, of those kind of, not one of them, but just any banner to put up on the wall. I saw that you could buy, I'm sure there was someone that was selling a Royal Rumble one, an old Royal Rumble one, but it was quite expensive. We are just hearing from Shane McMahon. That China in a ring, Undertaker in a ring, Triple H, Shane McMahon. Crazy to think that this is just 7 years after SummerSlam 92. It's so different. So different. Do you think that Edwards Usman trilogy happens at Wembley? I'm still shocked. I don't think it will, no. How come the F isn't blurred out? That's a good point. I think, to be honest, I think they started blurring them out, and then I might be remembering this wrong, but I think they came to an agreement. So they started doing it, and then I think that they reached an agreement because I don't know. I don't know if they were like, this is impossible. Like, we can't blur out every F that we've ever had everywhere. Like, is there any kind of agreement we can reach? And then maybe as a result of that, some were spared. Let's put it that way. He did say, just talk about Leon Edwards. Dana did say that it would be at Wembley. But he did also then later say that he was joking. He doesn't like stadium shows, Dana. He really doesn't like them. The pressure might be really on to do this one in a stadium show, though. I mean, he likes money. I know that much. So maybe the money would persuade him. But to be honest, I think he should do it at the NIA or the NEC in Birmingham. That's where I think it should be. If he wants it to be in an arena, that's fine. But do it in Birmingham because everything goes to London. And how great that this is from Manchester, actually. You know, there's a big kind of, and it's been there for a while, but a conversation that's been going on in the UK about getting things out of London because everything goes to London. So, you know, they're trying to get more things out to other parts of the country. So I think, you know, do Edwards versus Usman at the National Indoor Arena or at the NEC Exhibition Centre. Both have got really good attendance. I don't know what the numbers actually are, but both are good. Both would be good enough. Delwyn, wow, that's really generous, dude. Thank you so much. Says, Daze, I don't know if you saw on Twitter or not, 2K have teased Bray's entrance. I found it funny and interesting. I don't think it's possible to doubt the rumours at this point anymore. I did see it, and to be honest, I didn't really think much of it, just because they were paying respect to another game franchise, which I think is a game franchise which is quite dark and mysterious. Well, I don't know if it's mysterious, but like, I think that entrance that they use it fits for what they were trying to pay respect to. I really, really don't think that it is a reference or a tease for like Bray's return. I just don't think it's connected. I think it's dare I say even a coincidence? I don't even think it's a coincidence. I think it's just a case that that entrance. I mean, you could have maybe gone with an Undertaker entrance, but I think this entrance might come with the lamp as well. So if you use that entrance, you get the lamp. And I think that fits the game franchise, but I don't know enough about gaming to say that 100%. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, it could be something. Is it X0 News? They said that keep an eye out in the background because there could be some rambling on, was it SmackDown? And people were saying, like, do you think there's anything in that? And I was like, not sure. Because there's lots of fake news out there. And all I will say is that, you know, the word buzzard was mentioned on SmackDown. And so you do have to say, all right, maybe there was nothing rambling in the background. But you could make the argument there was a reference. So, I don't know, I'm a little torn. Let's put it that way. I'm a little torn because I keep seeing these things and they don't feel like there's anything to them. Like him saying the word buzzard I don't know if it feels like that is a reference. Them using that entrance doesn't feel like it's a reference. But the point you make is very valid of, you know, at what point do you go, hang on, we've got this, we got this. at what point do we say you just, it's got to be? I don't think I'm quite there yet, to be honest. I don't think I'm quite there yet. But we know that he's been spoken about in creative. And so we know that, I think there's an awareness. There's an awareness that he would bring value back to the company. And if Triple H really does want to please the fans, he only has to look at Twitter to see that Bray is trending all the time. So, yeah, it's I do agree. I do agree that it's at what point do you go? Oh my god. Right, just a promo there from the corporate ministry, and it was all right. A little bit strange in a way, but to start a pay-per-view with a promo, it feels a bit like a Raw or a SmackDown, Tiger Ali Singh is making his way down for our first match. This show feels like an old Raw rather than a pay-per-view, yes. Draft is taking place after the UK pay-per-view. Days, last night, were you rooting for Leon? Yes. If so, any reason? I supported Leon because he said he'd defend the belt against Masvidal if he weren't, and I'm desperate for Masvidal to win the belt. I was supporting Leon because I'm not from Birmingham, but my mum is from Birmingham. My dad is from Birmingham. Their parents lived in Birmingham. My mum's parents lived in Birmingham. Birmingham is where I have lived. I've lived in 2 different flats in Birmingham. I've worked in 3 different stores in Birmingham. I've grown up in that city. I mean, that city. Other than Starbridge, where I was born and where I was raised, Birmingham is my second home, without a shadow of a doubt. It's the biggest city. It's the city that I'm connected with. Starbridge is just a little town. It's just a town, actually, because my parents lived in Birmingham and they didn't want to start a family there. They decided to move to an area just outside, a bit quieter, and they moved to Starbridge, which is about 25 minutes away. If they hadn't have made that decision, they just decided to find somewhere in Birmingham, I would have been born and raised in Birmingham. So it's home. It's home. And he's obviously not from there. He's from Jamaica, but he grew up in Birmingham and he represents Birmingham. And, I mean, it's just a no-brainer, isn't it? So, yes, I was absolutely behind him. Right, we've got Tiger Ali Singh. Instead of wrestling, maybe all of you think I should be driving a taxi cab. My people, and especially me, are better than all of you. Man, I tell you what, that taxi cab line, you wouldn't be getting away with that now. I'm way better looking. Michael Cole's on this show, I believe. It's crazy, isn't it, how long he's been around for? Do you prefer 92 or 99? Oh, 92. 92, 100%. Is this the last major pay-per-view in the UK? And if that's the case, why do they call 92 the last major pay-per-view? Is that not a major one? This isn't this was UK only. So this was not being shown around the world. So this one doesn't count. It was a pay-per-view, but it's a UK-only pay-per-view. There are other pay-per-views that come from the UK that get shown around the world, but they're just in arenas. And they're not... It's not WrestleMania. It's not Royal Rumble. It's not SummerSlam. It's not a major show. They're B shows. So, yeah, there are other ones, but... The last major one was SummerSlam in 92. Then you get this, as you said, this one, which is UK only. And then you do get some other ones. I think, isn't it Insurrection is one, I believe, which might be the last one, which is early 2000s. But And oh God, I'm trying to remember what else. Capital Carnage was another, of course. But yeah, we've got but they're not really counted as being major. So yeah, Clash is the biggest since SummerSlam. There is a fly. I knew there was a fly. We've got Gillberg making his way down. It's pretty weird, isn't it? It's pretty weird that they're like the Gillberg character's really weird. Obviously, this is taking the mick out of Goldberg, who's on WCW at this time. So it would kind of be like, if WWE had CM Chump right now. Do you know what I mean? CM Chump, who would make his way down to the ring, and they were like taking the mick out of him. So here's Gillberg. Do you think Leon will be another Pena and lose the belt straight away? I think there's a good chance of it, unfortunately, yeah. A good chance of it. I mean, he was losing to Usman, and if Usman had just like got Leon, held him on against the cage, managed to get him down on the ground, hold him to the ground, if he'd just, it's really weird. I don't know if Usman just became too confident or overconfident, or I mean, I remember them saying, don't lose your discipline. For these next 2 rounds, don't lose your discipline. And I would argue in that final round, he does lose his discipline. And that's what costs him, really. Because Leon is always dangerous. And in MMA, you know, one strike, one, spinning kick, spinning back fist, there's so many different ways that you can be put away. If you are winning the fight, no doubt about it, you are winning the fight. And you are in round 5, just drive him against the cage, take him down to the mat. Yes, it's super boring, but you get the win. You get the win. And, I mean, I've still got the bit of paper in front of me. I've still got, like, Edwards round 1, Usman round 2, Usman round 3, Usman round 4. Usman was winning round 5. And there's less than a minute. It's like 57 seconds. It's crazy, isn't it? But the rematch will happen. Usman is a beast. And I do expect Usman to get the win. Just as Tiger Ali Singh has got the win here against Gillberg. So, as we said, weird little show this, because we start off with a promo, and then we go into Tiger Ali Singh against Gillberg. I mean, look, it is just very house show vibes, but I kind of like that. I wish they would show us more house shows. I would love to watch house show once in a while, because you get different things at house shows. They kind of let their hair down a little bit more. They're a bit more, like, relaxed at house shows. And they have a bit of fun at house shows and things. You might have seen that clip doing the rounds on Twitter where, like, Seth Rollins is arguing with the referee. And the referee starts, like, shouting back at him and everything. You kind of get those kind of spots at house shows. We got the Brood taking on the Acolytes and Viscera. So we've got that coming up tonight. The main event tonight, Stone Cold versus Undertaker versus Triple H. I believe the champion is Stone Cold at this time, and it's going to be a triple threat match. The Brood. The Brood were in the corporate ministry, but then they turned face. They left the corporate ministry and they turned face. And here we're going to be seeing them going up against the corporate ministry. I was at the event with my dad. I was 14. Oh, that's cool. Hang on, I want to read this. Chat's going crazy. Okay, I'm just waiting for it to catch up. There we go. I was at the event with my dad. I was 14, May 1999. I still got the program. The event was on Sky Pay-Per-View. It's the same day that Man United won the league. It was the start of the treble. Forever Red, shout out to you. It's good, isn't it, to kind of put it into that perspective for people so that they can go, okay, that's where we are. It's such an interesting time in wrestling. Look at that crowd, man. Look at that crowd. So, six-man tag action about to get underway. Acolytes and Viscera. Acolytes and Viscera versus the Brood. And obviously the Brood, Edge, Christian, Gangrel. The good old days of being a United fan. Listen, good old days coming back, yeah. Casemiro for life. The rebirth starts tomorrow. I'm thinking, United put in such a bad performance the other week, and that we've just signed one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, who I know won't be playing. I think there will be a reaction now. Whether United can cling on to get a point, don't know. I'm thinking not. If I was a betting man, I'd say that we're going to lose, but I don't know. It might. I don't know. I really do think that there will be a reaction. This is it's cool music, this, isn't it? With the Brood coming out. Brood music's cool. Brood making their way down. I realised it's 99. I lived in Manchester. Man United won the treble. Britney Spears was singing Hit Me One More Time. Nick, it's most likely petition days. How do you post so much? Do you even get free time? There's not really much in the way of free time, though. And in fact, after this, I need to download Discord again for this computer because I haven't done that. I need to set up a few future streams because I've not done that. I need to set up tomorrow's Raw streams and everything. So I've got a bit of a to-do list. I've been asked about KSI next weekend. I don't believe there's any UFC. I looked into that earlier, so I think we will do that because I haven't got any UFC. So I think we'll look to do, and I think that's this Saturday. I think it's this Saturday that's coming. So yes, we will look to do that. I'm sure that will excite many people, and I'm sure it will not excite many others. And Clash, we will do Clash on the Wrestling Daze channel. So we will do Clash on this. It's too big of a show for me to not do. I mean, SummerSlam was too big of a show for me to not do. And Money in the Bank was too big of a show for me to not do. But they collided with massive UFC pay-per-views. This is going up against a fight night. It's not going up against a UFC pay-per-view. So, yes, I'm going to be looking to do Clash. Which is a real shame, and I know we're going to get loads of people jumping in going, oh, you're not doing UFC. It's one of those where you just can't win. But how do I not do Clash when it's coming from the UK? So, on Peacock, something different for No Mercy. It's No Mercy UK 1999. Moldy said, this week I started watching Attitude Era. I started at King of the Ring 96, and I'm at Rumble 98. I saw the fake Diesel and fake Razor. Yeah, wild, innit? It's I've always wondered what the explanation was for that and what they were trying to do with it. And honestly, the explanation's really underwhelming. Vince genuinely just thought, well, I've got those characters. Why can't I still show them? And genuinely thought that we wouldn't care that other people were playing those characters now. It's mental, man. It's such a mental idea to just think that it's mental. I mean, I suppose you do get it with TV shows. There have been examples where the same character has been played by two different actors or actresses, but that's never received well. That's never something fans appreciate. Is the fact that someone completely different is playing this character now. It ruins it, doesn't it? Yeah, sucked. Dana allowing Nate to have this upcoming fight is wrong. Nate is a legend, but Dana doesn't like him because he wants out. Dana has protected fighters, but allowing this feels personal. I don't know, to be honest, but because it kind of feels to me that, Nate wants to fight, and apparently he wanted Ngannou. And Dana was like, you're not having Ngannou. So they've clearly come to, a compromise, or they've clearly found an opponent that they're both satisfied with. He's got a name value, Nate Diaz. Of course he does. And so it's a good person for Chimaev to go up against because it's winnable. It makes him a bigger star. But also it has him beating a legend, basically. For Nate Diaz, it's not as great, but I think Nate Diaz would rather be facing someone like Chimaev than facing someone lower down. Do you know what I mean? Someone that's not in the rankings. Just a random fight that you might win, you might lose. But, you're going to be, I don't know. He wouldn't be on the prelims, of course he wouldn't, but you're going to be, I don't know, second fight on the main card. This is a main event of a major show against one of the biggest names in the sport. So, I don't know. I kind of think that this is what Nate wants. He's looking for the big paydays. He's looking for the big names. He's looking for fights that excite him. I think him taking on Chimaev excites him. The only problem is the whole world is looking at this going, you are about to be murdered. You are going to be murdered. But I don't know. I mean, it's hard because, I think part of me really believes this is something he wants. And I think that's just, I can't understand it. I don't know that Dana can understand it as well. I saw him in a post-fight press conference and he was like, if you could only hear the conversation I was having with Nate Diaz, it would blow your mind. The guy is insane. The guy is off his rocker. And then that's when he mentioned about the Ngannou bit, part of the conversation, and that's insane. What's your opinion on Andrew Tate? He will also fight Jake Paul this October. I don't have much of an opinion on Andrew Tate. Not someone that's massively on my radar, to be honest. Is he fighting Jake Paul this October? Is that something that's coming together? Is it? Let's have a look and see what the rumor mill's saying. Andrew Tate, Jake Paul. It calls on it. Andrew Tate made no bones about being open to about with Jake Paul. First called out Jake in 2021. I don't know if Jake responded. I mean, look, I want to see him be taking on proper boxers. That's what I want to see for Jake. I want to see him. I want to see him take on proper active boxers. That's what I'm hoping to see. So all of this kind of, I don't know. If it's not an active professional boxer, it's just noise. It's just and it might work. It might get people's interest, but what have you made of Liverpool's awful start? I think that they're just trying to get it together. I think it's a big change for them. Losing Mane is big. And gaining Nunes is big. But don't forget, Diaz is still in the process of settling. Diaz is someone that's still... It's easy to think he's just part of the group or whatever, but he's still, relatively new. Didn't he? He only joined him in January. So, that's two big names, key parts of their team, that are still in the process of, working out their relationships and, getting used to being at the Premier League. I mean... Diaz will be going to different places for the first time, learning about how different teams play. So I think it's just a bit of a settling in process. They've gone through a bit of upheaval. They went through a long period of quite, relative stability. But I think losing Mane is a big thing. I think it's a big thing. They'll be all right. Jerry Lawler just says, he just said that Bradshaw was showing no mercy, just like the Manchester United footballers that showed Spurs no mercy today. So a little reference to Man United beating Spurs earlier in the day. Coming in, and obviously we are in Manchester. Big strike, so Viscera in the ring with Christian. JR said, Viscera, one of the biggest men I've ever seen. I always felt they never got the most out of Viscera, Mabel. I mean, it was very limited in the ring, I suppose. And they certainly did try a few things, but... Oh, drops him down. Why are United fans laughing at Liverpool start when we've been god-awful? That's true. Do you rate Darwin Núñez? Yeah. I mean, from what I saw of him playing when he played for Benfica, his numbers were certainly impressive, and he was doing it in the Champions League as well. Now, I always think that's a good barometer. You know, if Ajax hadn't have had such a good Champions League run, then I wouldn't be as enthusiastic about Ten Hag. But because I've seen him do it against big teams in Europe, it makes me feel more confident and comfortable that he's, you know, tactically going to be able to do it in the Premier League and Champions League again when we get there. And the same can be said for Núñez. It's one thing to be able to like do it in a Portuguese league, but you know, to be scoring goals as regular as he was in the Champions League, it's just a good indicator of his quality and his potential. And you know, I mean, didn't he score 2 in Community Shield? I know he got a couple in a game, and it looked like, wow, this guy's going to be serious. And then, you know, it just got the emotion, got the better of him, didn't it, with that, like, headbutt. So it is what it is. I think they've got a really, really good striker. They just need to get them bedded in. Núñez isn't the concern, really. I'm actually more concerned about them replacing Mane. Mane, for me, played better. Well, he did well, actually, last season in the middle as, like, the striker. But for the longest time, he was over on the left. So that's where Diaz plays now. So actually, like, Diaz trying to match the goal output, the assist output of Mane, I think that bothers me more than Núñez. I don't know why. The number, maybe I'm just, like, really off on this, but the number 9 always gets a bit of a pass to me. Always gets a bit of a free ride. They just finish the moves off. You do have players like Firmino who very much is linked in with that, and Harry Kane is very much linked in with building the play. But I always think the number 9 should just be there to finish the job. You know, that's why I like Ronaldo at United. It's all right, but the rest of the team needs to really be built around him, and everything should find, you know, build up the play, get the ball to Ronaldo, he finishes it off for you. And for me, like, there's no reason why Núñez can't play that role, be that role. But you've got to make sure the rest of the team is solid around him. And, I keep coming back to the fact that losing Mane is massive. But they'll be all right. I mean, listen, they got a quality team, haven't they? I expect them to be second this year. Here's Mideon and McMahon. Shane has got the old European Championship around his waist. Is that a title that we're going to be seeing again soon with NXT Europe? It's definitely got people talking about the potential for them to bring that back. Darren is quality, but he needs to sort his heads out. Modern Liverpool team has got no spaces for hotheads. We don't need a Suarez in this team. Daisy, looking forward to the Trish Stratus return. Absolutely, yeah. It's always great to have legends on the show. And I'm hoping to see more of that. I mean, it makes sense because obviously we're in Canada. We're in Toronto, so it makes sense to do that. But it'd be great if we went around different parts of America and the wrestlers from those areas were present. Don't need it all the time. I'm just talking once a month. You know, once a month you get a bit of a special Raw or a bit of a special SmackDown. Maybe that would be every 2 weeks or something. You know, a special SmackDown, then a bit of a special Raw. 2 weeks later, a bit of a special SmackDown. And when I say special, I don't mean Quake by the Lake. I just mean, like, you know, you bring on a local legend from wherever you are, or you look to do something a bit special. I mean, we already get, like, title matches on a fairly regular basis, so I can't say a title match would be special. Unless you start doing less, and then just do the odd one here and there. Then it would be special again. But yeah, I like it. I really like it. I think I don't know if there's been a bit of back and forth between her and Bailey, but there might be a segment with her and where's Bailey? Bailey is on. Yeah, Bailey is on Raw, isn't she? With those two, they just showed up though, didn't they, on SmackDown? That's what threw me off. But they are based on Raw, so I reckon there could be an interaction between Trish and Bailey. 1, 2, oh, shoulder up, Brood. We've got a big brawl. Mideon is making his way down. DDT on the outside to Gangrel. Yes, even in 99, we've got a table with a couple of like those square monitors on for the announcers, for the commentators. 1, 2, 3, and it's a victory. Bradshaw gets the pin. So Viscera and the Acolytes getting the victory. So there we go. Mideon had to come down, get involved. But as a result of that, it is a victory for the Acolytes and for Viscera. Clothesline by Bradshaw, and that's promo by Shane. The most destructive force that's ever been created. The corporate ministry. I don't know that people would really agree with that in 2022. Brood looking dejected in the ring. Steve Blackman. Steve Blackman vignette. Lethal Weapon. Calling it. So it's funny, actually, when we talk about martial arts, and we talk about martial arts in wrestling, I always think Ken Shamrock or Dan Severn. Steve Blackman doesn't come to mind as much. And he should. I mean, look at this. Cool. Did you see Tennille Dashwood's tweet? She's a free agent. Her deal with Impact is up. Does she land in WWE? Her partner Madcap is there. Oh, I didn't know that. Did I know they were partners? I don't know that I knew that. I don't know. She was always fine. Solid hand. But do they need her? Is she someone that's going to be a big star for them? I don't know. She's important to the history of women's wrestling because you can really make the argument that Emma and Paige play a massive part in that women's evolution, women's revolution. So she's a big deal. But in 2022, where we have the likes of Charlotte, Bayley, potentially Sasha coming back, Raquel Rodriguez, Bianca, Rhea Ripley, like I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if we need her. Without, I'm not being moody. I'm just saying. If she comes back, that's fine. Droz is making his way down. Droz against Steve Blackman. Oh my God, Droz. Emma was awesome before they let her go, says Cliff. Tennille Dashwood should tag with Carmella, says Dave. Asib said, you always talk about legends appearing, but how many legends available that haven't passed away or are with AEW that people would care for? I don't have an answer to that because obviously we'd have to look through a history, like all the legends, but I feel there's a lot. Because I feel like, you've got Kevin Nash, you got the likes, say Hulk Hogan. I mean, I think he might get a mixed reaction these days. But yeah, you've got, potentially if you went to the Carolinas, you could always bring in Ric Flair. We've not been seeing the likes of Sid Justice. I don't know if that would be something that would resonate with people. The problem you have is that WWE have not been talking about their history that much. So, for example, if you bring out Demolition to me, that's very exciting. And to anyone that knows Demolition and watched, wrestling back in the day, they were a major, major tag team. And they've been on WrestleManias. They've been in major feuds. I feel like that's a massive deal. I feel like and we've not seen them because they fell out with WWE. So I feel like that would be a big thing to have like Demolition on the show. Because I think they should go in the Hall of Fame and everything. But they had a big falling out with WWE and Vince. So to me, that's something I would absolutely love to see. Demolition on the show, giving some advice to a young tag team, I think would be a really, that would resonate. But some of this is not going to, play to the casuals. But I'm not really bothered by that. There's plenty out there for the we already do enough for the casual fans, yeah? With all the flipping recaps that I have to sit through so that people can be brought up to speed for shows that we watch week after week after week. We watch it all. We don't need the recaps. But it's there for the casuals. Or flipping Alexa walking around with a lily doll because it makes tons of money. Against the ropes goes Droz. I know Warner Brothers Discovery is lightly satisfied with AEW, but with Rampage ratings dropping to 400,000, even hitting a few 300,000, how likely could Warner pull the plug in a year or two if it gets lower? Likely. I would have to think that they would move it first. I would have to think that they would look at it, or I'd have to think they would have a word with Tony, and Tony would book a stronger show. So, Dynamite would have, I don't know, a big title match, rather than it being next week on Dynamite, tune into Rampage. So I would have to think, and maybe those conversations are happening already, I don't know. I would think first, that would be your first thing to do. Give me these numbers need to improve. You need stronger matches. If that doesn't work, then I think they would look to move the time slot, rather than just completely axe the second show. So I think there's probably a few steps that you would go through first, but without knowing how it compares to the other shows on a Friday, without knowing what their expectations are, it's hard to say. Their expectations for that time slot are probably not Dynamite numbers. Their expectations are probably not, if the program you had there before did 200,000, and now you've got a show that does 400,000, are you going to be satisfied or not? I'd have to think you are. I don't know what the show did before. I think as wrestling fans, we can look at a number like 400,000 and compare it to Raw, compare it to SmackDown, compare it to Dynamite, and see it as a bad number. But the truth is, what does that time slot normally do? What's the competition doing? What was the expectation of that time slot? What did the show before do? Without that information, it's hard to know how it's performing. It's hard to know in how much danger it is, So I can only imagine that if there's a problem, they'll talk to Tony about it. Tony will do something about it. He will book a stronger show. He will try to increase the ratings. He will not want to lose another show like that, because that's just money coming in, isn't it? Ad revenue and everything. So he'll do whatever he can to try and keep it. Steve Blackman going up top. Elbow drop by Blackman as Droz moves out the way. Teddy Long, the referee for this one, player. Surprised he's not made a tag match already in this. It's pretty wild gear on Droz, isn't it? It's kind of like tie-dye kind of vibe. Something that I don't know that I've seen since... It's the kind of attire that I could see Bron Breakker wearing. Back elbow by Droz. Nice suplex. Kick out by Droz. Against the ropes goes Blackman. Droz picks him up. Slams him down. 2. Shoulder up by Blackman. How many times? How long till we see replica Drew McIntyre swords on sale? That you can already get them. They've been on sale for a while, but they're not proper replicas. They're obviously toy swords, but I've seen them on WWE Shop that light up and everything. Do you know how I can be a member? I've been watching since 2020. I do enjoy these streams. I don't, to be honest. If it's not, my understanding is that the join button is on the home page. If you go to like the home page for this channel, the join button should be next to the subscribe button, but it doesn't show on all devices, and I don't know why. Must be like a little problem or something with YouTube, and some of it is, and sometimes is regional. So there's some territories that I don't think you can like join channels. But if you're in like, I don't know, the UK, America, Canada, I can't see why it wouldn't be there. I don't know why that wouldn't be an option. But I have been told certain devices it doesn't show. So I would say try some different devices. Put the year up of the show. There's a few people asking. It's 99, but what you need to do is you need to search No Mercy UK 1999, because there was actually 2 No Mercies in this year. Then there's a No Mercy at the end of the year, and this was the first one in, like, I think this is like May 16th, 1999. So if they find the biggest clue I can give people is the thumbnail, because the thumbnail has actually been taken directly from WWE Network. So you just need to find that thumbnail, that show. No Mercy UK 1999. That's a lovely kick. It's a real weird kick. Steve Blackman was on his hands and knees. Droz came off the top and he just sort of like raised his leg like a dog would if it was peeing against, like, you know, a lamppost. But he sort of raised his leg, but he got it to such an angle where Droz came down onto it. And he goes down, armbar applied, and Steve Blackman gets the win. So a victory for Steve Blackman. Such a weird, as we said, man, this is such a weird show, isn't it? Very, very house show in its presentation. Like, these are not the strongest 2 opening matches, and you start with a promo, but the big stars are on the way. Now we're seeing a black and white home. Reddit wheat. Daze, how would you book Cody's return, and who do you think Usyk will defend his titles against? Well, Usyk says that if it's not, Usyk said if it's not Fury, then he's not fighting. So it's got to be Fury. So if it's not Fury, then he's not interested. How would I book Cody's return? I would just bring him back at the Rumble. Right. Here's Mick Foley. Slightly out of sync with the time, so I'm just trying to match it back up. It's really annoying. There we go. Got it. I knocked it out of sync. Right, here we go. So, bang, bang. Mankind in the ring. Now AJ has lost twice to Usyk. Is that the end of AJ Fury? You can get there. It can still get there. If they just want to do it without the belts, it can be done. If they just want to prove who the best British heavyweight is, it can still be done. But it won't be as big as it was. And it was hard enough to get it done anyway. So, like, I think, yeah, it's going to be hard to see how we get there. Let's put it that way. Foley is God signs. Someone tell me a rumor. I'm told you play football here in Manchester. Is that true? Is the team any good? There's, there's, there's a couple of teams. This also happens to be the hometown of a very famous wrestler called the British Bulldog. The second match in my career was against Davey Boy Smith. I had a chance to speak to Davey. He said, Cactus, I spoke to Davey Boy. Do you want to know what he said? He said, can you please hang up the phone and let me get back to sleep? If not Usyk beating Fury, if Usyk beats Fury, is he the greatest heavyweight of all time? No. No. This era is a fun era, but it's not deep enough to be regarded as like one of the great eras of heavyweight boxing. And I think if you've got someone like Usyk who can beat Joshua, Fury, Wilder, it definitely puts him in a conversation as being, you know, amongst the best heavyweights. But it's just not deep enough for him to be regarded as the greatest heavyweight. Like, I feel like there still needs to be a few more Fury Joshuas kind of in this division that for Usyk to have to beat in order for him to then really seriously get into that conversation. It's just not, it's got quality, it's got big names, big personalities. It's just not deep enough. Alex said, do you think Raw will have any more returns on Monday or Friday? And did you see the announcement of Impact having their own figure line? I didn't see the Impact figure line, but that'll be good. They've got some big personalities, so that'll be good. Do I see Raw having any more returns? I'm going to lean towards no, just because I think if there are to be any returns now, I think they'll probably happen at Clash. So, you know, Charlotte would be a no-brainer. But I think that's, as I say, I think that's happening at Clash. But, I mean, you can't completely rule it out. But I really wouldn't be watching the shows, like, hoping for returns. Like, they should always be, like, the cherry on top. They should be, like, special moments. What is more interesting to me is that we have good, solid shows, well-booked shows, interesting shows, exciting shows. If you get a return in there, brilliant. But it's not something that I'm particularly looking for or need. We're just chatting to some of the fans here. That dude's got like a DX sign on his face. I think Austin will win tonight, but he's going to get a beating that'll leave him in bad shape for Over the Edge. Austin's going to win whether he wants to or not. Right, Mideon is making his way down. Mideon. Used to do that a lot, actually. I remember going to house shows where someone would need some help and someone would come down and help them. And then you would see that same person later in the show. Like, we've already seen Mideon earlier in this show. In fact, we saw him in the Open when the corporate ministry did their promo. We saw him coming down, getting involved in the first match. And now here he is in this match. We've seen him 3 times. And you used to get that a lot with these house shows in the UK, because they would just bring over like a very limited group. Like, they'd bring, I don't know, 15 wrestlers, and they would just try and use those 15 as much as possible. You might actually need probably like 20, but they have 15, so people would have to do a couple of things twice on a show, interfere earlier and then have a match later. And you used to see that all the time with house shows. It's just little things like, this is the third time we're seeing Mideon on this show. It makes me think of that. Kane making his way down. Full mask. Awesome Kane as well. Kane really, to me, really dropped off when he took the mask off. And once we move away from this version of Kane, it's so interesting, isn't it? Because The Undertaker was booked so well and he was kept strong for so long. You could argue his whole career. I mean, Undertaker never lost that mystique, never lost that kind of connection with the fans. I feel like Kane did. Kane, when he first comes in, is red hot, man. And when he's got this full mask and that look, he's absolutely awesome. But I think the fact he loses, the matches to Undertaker, and then, he starts going off into, other feuds. And I don't know, it really feels like he gets watered down. They just couldn't have two Undertakers, could they? They couldn't find a way of booking two Undertakers. Strike coming in. Hello, Ledge Killer. Shout out to you. What do you like better, WWE or AEW? WWE. I mean, it's a no-brainer because I've watched WWE since, 92, whereas AEW's been around since 2019. So if I always used to answer that question both have got pros and cons, which is the way that I started thinking of it is if I could only watch one going forward, what would I watch? And it would be WWE. So that's how I answer that question now. Have you watched any of the A&E documentaries yet? No. Mass Kane, Demon Kane, Burnt Kane, Corporate Kane, Hugging Daniel Bryan Kane. They've done too much of him, says Tyler. He's still cool though, isn't he? He's still a legend, and he's really cool here. It's just, I think you get different levels of coolness with Kane. Whereas I think Undertaker stays fairly consistent. There's a few little dips and whatever, peaks and troughs, whatever, but it's fair, we're kind of up here. Whereas with Kane, I think it's a little bit more like this with him. But this is cool. This is cool. Daze, I called the Leon Edwards would knock out Usman. Do you remember me saying that in the last few weeks? Yes, I do remember you saying that. Did you put any money on it? Did you go for any, a little cheeky bet? I'm not sure Kane was able to keep up the same momentum as Undertaker, says Dortnight. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting, why? Is it Glenn that wasn't able to portray the character as strong? Or I think it might be more the creative that he's given. I think it might be more that if you've got someone like The Undertaker, I don't care what people say, wins and losses do matter, right? And The Undertaker was given a lot of victories, a lot of big wins as well. He was fed Giant Gonzalez, Kamala, constantly fed people to get the better of. And then, you kind of get into a few key feuds like Mankind. And then by 97, we'll get into Kane. And I think The Undertaker obviously gets the better of that feud. And that obviously keeps him strong. But if you do lose a big feud like that, then I think that you kind of come out of it in people's eyes being less than. And you can try and build them back up. But I just think it's really difficult to kind of book two dominant, cool, big guys that are very similar, I mean, this is, a mysterious, dark, otherworldly type character. And I think they, maybe went as far with this version of him that they thought they could. And then they, started to mix it up. And I think once you start to mix it up, you're always running a risk. In all fairness, when Undertaker becomes like, dead man walking and all that kind of stuff, big evil, he's got, he still keeps it really strong. And he still comes across as really cool. I mean, he said that he just couldn't keep that kind of persona going during an Attitude Era. It didn't work. But he comes across as really cool at that time. And it does still work for him. I'm glad he goes back to Dead Man. But he's Kane about to put Mideon away. And now here, look, we're seeing the Acolytes coming down. Now here's Viscera. Here's Shane McMahon. I'm so pleased that we don't get these kind of outside interference AEW brawls. This is like another outside interference. The first match had outside interference. Now this one's got loads of outside interference. You don't tend to see this so much these days. It happens. I mean, like Edge, for example, getting involved at SummerSlam with the Judgment Day Mysterio match. Usos getting involved with Roman and whatever. So it definitely happens. But I don't know. Maybe this is the downside of factions. Maybe if everyone wants factions and faction wars. But I think part of the downside is that, well, you're going to have a lot of matches that are going to be one-on-one, one member of each faction, and the rest of the factions are getting involved. There's going to be loads of DQs, loads of dodgy finishes, loads of brawls. You'll get really desensitized to it very quickly. So there's pros and cons to like a faction war, which always sounds great. X-Pac making his way down. You're next. Kane was number 2 on the corporate ministry hit list. And guess what, X-Punk? You're next. So X-Pac check-in on Kane. Bray is going to do a run-in during Billy Gunn versus Mankind. Do you think we'll get Gunther Roman at some point? Do you think we get Gunther Bobby at Survivor Series? I think there's a chance of Gunther Bobby, yeah. I mean, they're certainly on a collision course at the moment. Who knows? Who knows if we do get it? But I think there's obviously a very good chance that we do. I don't think Gunther loses the IC title before Survivor Series. It's just will Bobby keep it till Survivor Series? And will we get Gunther Roman? That would be tricky because like someone's gonna have to turn face, aren't they? They're both heels at the moment, so I don't see it whilst they're both heels. We're just seeing a clip from Friday Night Raw is War. Val Venis making his way down. Daze, I know Tegan Knox could be coming back to WWE. I'm not certain, but I do feel worried because she's blown her knees out. I feel she might get injured soon after return. Yeah. She's not someone I'm crazy about. I mean, I saw her as Nixon Newell, and she was really good, and I was actually excited when she joined. But her injuries really stalled her momentum. And now I agree with you. Like, it feels like she's made of glass. And, I don't know. I also think, like, seeing people wrestling with the knee braces on always feels a little bit like cheating to me. It's weird because first thing everyone thinks of is Stone Cold. And I never felt that way about Stone Cold, right? I don't know why. It just added to his character, his I don't care attitude, and maybe, it's part of the Attitude Era and everything. But I was looking at Zoe Stark competing at NXT Heatwave, and she's got, like, this big knee brace thing on. I do always think, like, how is that legal? How is it that you can have this, like, big metal knee brace Because if I'm throwing in kicks, like you've got like a protective cage around your leg. Like if I'm throwing kicks and I catch that, that's going to hurt me. Or if you kick me, it's going to hurt me more. It's going to hurt me more if you've got this metal thing around your leg. So I think she has to have two because of her doing her knees, and it's like extra support for her knees. And I always look at those kind of knee support things, and I'm like, I don't know. Visually, it's just, to be honest, I think it's a subconscious thing. It's not something that I really sit there like going quite deep in, but subconsciously, I think I just don't like it because it's like, how is that fair? How is it even? Like, if you drop a knee on me wearing that, it's going to really hurt me. If I kick you and I kick that, I'm going to really hurt myself. I feel like it gives, like, a slight unfair... I remember back in the day, do you remember, like, Lex Luger had, like, a metal plate in his forearm, and there was this big thing about, like, how is it fair? He's got this metal plate in his forearm. I feel like the knee brace is something quite similar to that. But I can't stress this enough. I didn't feel that way when Stone Cold had it. Maybe because there were so many weapons and it was the Attitude Era and it was all... it looked cool and people were cheating all the time anyway. And so maybe like all of that was at play. It was a different time, a different era. But I saw Zoe start wearing it at Heatwave and I was like, And then I thought about it. I thought, you know what? I have felt that way when I saw Tegan Knox wearing it as well. And I don't think it's just a women thing. Like, if a guy was wearing it, I'd feel the same. But it is true. Like, I didn't feel that way during Stone Cold. We've got Sable in the ring. Sable, man. Look at that little kid. My God, did you see the little kid? He must have been about 5. It's a little kid. It says, Sable, marry me. Oh, man, what if Brock sees that? What if Brock sees that? That kid will get messed up. Sable has got a chest cold. It's a big problem. When Sable gets a chest cold, it's a big problem. I know everyone's extremely disappointed because you all came to see me. But my doctors advised me not to I'm gutted. I don't know about you, I am gutted. Daze, that little kid was Brock Lesnar in 99. Is that why he was sat on a tractor? That makes sense now. She never gets spoke about much, does she, Nicole Bass? Everyone swoons over, like, China. I wonder why they don't bring in female bodybuilders. I mean, these kinds of women, these, like, absolutely jacked monsters, they're out there. They're out there. I wonder why they don't go up to some of them and just be like, do you want to earn some serious money? Put them in the performance center, train them up. Right, Nicole Bass then. Belt sounds. Tori goes over and wallops Nicole Bass. Nicole Bass is like, oh, really? Do I really have to do this today? Tori going against the ropes. Choke slam. 1, 2, 3. Thanks for coming. There we go. Nicole Bass. PW Insider reporting Jeff Jarrett has departed WWE. Oh, that's interesting. Wonder why? That makes me feel he's got another opportunity coming up, or there's something, I don't know. Nicole Bass making her way. She looks bored. European title match, X-Pac against Shane McMahon coming up. David, shout out to you, my friend. That is the tallest female wrestler, I believe. Maybe. R.I.P. Nicole Bass. Did you see Ludwig Kaiser? Do you see Ludwig Kaiser turn on Gunther being a big star? I see, like Vinci. I can't say I see him being a big star, but I could definitely see them having a feud. I think my concern would be that they would feud and then he would just kind of drift into be a bit of a jobber. I mean, he's got a good look. He's got an interesting character, but I don't think the character is strong enough to kind of. I think he would need to drastically change the character. It's good for what he's doing with Gunther, but can I see this? Can I see him going off on his own doing this? It's a little bit Vaudevillains in a way. Not the same type of character, but like it's a very strong character. It's not as flexible or as loose as, say, a Seth Rollins character. Seth is just himself largely, wearing extravagant clothes, cackling away. Whereas this Ludwig Kaiser is very... it's hard to word, isn't it? He's kind of authoritarian. Maybe feels very 1939 to 1945. I don't know how it kind of plays on its own. Mean Street Posse. Jeff Jarrett went in demanding they improve the quality of the network buffering, and they ignored him. Oh, Jesus. I can see why he'd be frustrated with it, to be honest. When I found out wrestling was scripted, what? I had to stop watching, but now I found more respect for the in-ring craft. What about you? Did your viewing change when you found out it was scripted? I remember being very disappointed because I found out quite young, and I genuinely thought it was real. And I must admit, like, I'd heard, like, rumblings, people had said things, but I was fairly convinced. I was like, nah. I've watched it. I've watched too much of it. Nah. I totally believed it. And I've said before, when I was young, not once did I see a botch. I'm sure they're there, but they just feel like, I don't know, like, things in life just aren't perfect and smooth, are they? So if someone goes for a clothesline and they don't get them over the top rope, they have to go for it a second time. That just feels normal and natural. It doesn't feel like, oh, he botched that. He was meant to get him over, but he took him a couple of attempts. Like, that did not exist. It was not a thing. So, no, when someone said, oh, it's fake or whatever, I was like, I couldn't get my head around it. That was about, like, mid-90s. Did it change my viewing habits? I remember being disappointed, but I think I'd felt such a connection to the wrestlers that it didn't really change a great deal. Obviously, at the start, you're watching it going, is it, like, how? I mean, like, how is that? Is he not hitting him? Then you go, he's not, is he? And, like, you go through that kind of little bit of anger, little bit of denial. All these kind of emotions. But the thing is, you're on your own. Like, when I watched wrestling, I was on my own. I'd watch it on my own. So it's not like, do you know what I mean? It's not like you look like an idiot to a load of people because you didn't know. Like, now, I think there's a pride thing about, like, people... Yeah, of course I knew. Type of thing, I will admit I didn't. Oh, it's scripted. Yeah, of course yeah. Oh, yeah, of course it's... Yeah. Everyone knows it's scripted. Come on. But when I was young, I didn't. I mean, this whole industry is designed to make you believe it's real. That's the whole point of it. That's why I'm so like the way I am, because the whole industry is built on kayfabe, and it's built on making you believe it was real, and that is how the companies and the promotions were so successful, because a lot of people buying the tickets thought they were going to a genuine sporting contest. So you shouldn't really feel bad if you believed it, because it was designed to make you think it was legit. But no, I mean, it's a good question. It didn't change how I viewed things. But I probably did go through a period of being a bit denial, a bit angry, a bit confused, or whatever. But my connections like Undertaker, Shawn, those characters were so strong, I was not going to just walk away from it. Darwin, shout out to you, bud. Darwin, you don't need to keep super chatting. I will keep an eye for your comments, but Darwin said, what's your thought on Nick Khan said he is interested WWE to Netflix? Possibly could happen after Peacock expires in 2024. They said they will do another stadium show next year in India or Australia. What do I think about it? I think that it just makes sense. I think that it could be Netflix, it could be, I don't know, flipping Disney Plus. It could be anywhere. You know, this is a company, isn't it? It's a company that is all about getting the most money for the product that they produce. And if YouTube all of a sudden want to pay them a load of money to be the exclusive home of it, they'll go to YouTube. If Facebook are going to pay them the most money, they'll go to Facebook. If Netflix are going to pay them the most money, they'll go to Netflix. Like, this company have got no shame. If the flipping Saudi Arabian government create their own streaming platform and they offer them $2 billion for all of their content for the next 5 years, they are going on a Saudi Arabian network. It's as simple as that. As long as it can be made available to like the American market, they will go wherever the money is. So yeah, them going to Netflix. It's a surprise in the sense of Netflix are interested, and you know, it's a surprise in the sense of, oh, it's Netflix. But it's not a surprise that they could be going or leaving Peacock and go into another streaming platform or another, you know, place like that. And what was the other one? An Indian pay-per-view. Yeah, I did a 10 things WWE should change type video or need to do. And one of them I said was be more of a global brand. And actually that got us onto the conversation of NXT, how that was going to be around the globe, how we did Super Showdown in Australia. And I really feel like these shows are really important because you've got so much potential that I don't think they're capitalizing on. I don't think they're making the most of the globe. If you look at where all the pay-per-views come from, the Raws and SmackDowns come from, it's all America. It's all America. And that's fine. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it makes sense from a time zone point of view, but we live in a world now where they've got their own network. You know, back in the day, they had to do it in America, and it had to be in a time zone similar because their biggest audience is the American audience. Now you've got the network, and you can watch it at any point. You know, and I also think fans like that variety. I think I have not seen anyone complaining that Clash is coming from the UK. I've not seen one complaint. I'm sure they're out there, but I've not seen them. I've not seen anyone moaning that it's going to be at a different time to usual. People, I think, are just genuinely excited. I think people are pleased that the UK fans get Summit. And I think people are excited because it's probably going to have a different flavour. And we know that the British crowds are great. So I think people are probably looking forward to that as well. So, do you know what I mean? Like, there's positives. If they go to India, okay, it's a different time again. But, God, what's an Indian pay-per-view going to be like? I mean, fantastic. You know, I hope they really lean into the culture. I want it to be represented in the staging. I want, like, I don't know if you saw the Superstar Spectacular thing that they did. And they had, like, people dancing and everything before they came out. And it was great. It really felt Indian. So a pay-per-view show like that would be so much fun. And they should go to these different places, grow their fan base around the world, and give us variety. I'm so bored of Raws just being in what feel like the same stadium, same arenas, week after week after week. It's the same set. It's the same barricade. It's the same. I'm getting to the point where I think it's the same people in the crowd. Everything's the same. It really feels like it's just the same arena week after week after week. If we're in Ohio, if we're in Chicago, if we're in New York, if we're in Seattle, if we're in California, if we're in Florida, everything is the same. And it's boring. It's boring. I understand the focus should be on the performers and not on the set. But I do think that, it would give a bit of, where are we this weekend? Oh, we're in Florida. That'll be good. Or we're in Texas. Oh, I love the Texas set. That'll be good. Like, it just becomes an extra bonus feature. It's something else to look forward to, rather than it just being so generic. I would definitely look to do that. And if we're doing an Indian pay-per-view, you've got to go big with Indian theming. So, love it. Love it, love it, love it. I wouldn't go crazy and do them, like, all the time. Still, like, the vast majority would stay in America. But I don't think there's... Why not do a Raw in India? Why not do a Raw in Mexico? Why not do a Raw in Canada or Australia or Europe or Africa? Imagine a Raw in Africa. God, it'd be flipping fantastic. It could be so much fun. I love that about World Cups. They always feel quite different. When we go to Brazil, or we go to Africa, or we go to Russia... Like, I don't know, like, all the graphics feel very, culturally relevant. And you have things like vuvuzelas in the crowd. Different chants. Crowds look different. Different vibe. It's great. Kick there by X-Pac. UK Rampage used to be a thing. Yes. Netflix don't do live shows. Well, I'm sure they have the facility to do them. I mean, Amazon do live tennis and everything and stream that fine, so I can't see any reason why Netflix won't be able to do them. Shane is trying to crawl over to X-Pac. China's been getting involved. We've got less than an hour to go, 1, 2. I didn't realise how long we'd been going for. We've just been chatting away. Shoulder up by X-Pac. X-Pac gets his shoulder up. Do you know what? I actually don't know. How many matches have we got left? I'm really surprised. We've only got 2 matches left. We've got 2 matches. We've got the main event, Stone Cold, Triple H and Undertaker, in an anything goes triple threat main event. And then we've also got Mankind in action. And again, going back to what I said earlier about how superstars double up. We've already seen Mankind come out and do a promo. Now he's about to come back out and do a match. So we've got Mankind taking on Billy Gunn. And then we've got our main event, and that's it. Kick to the midsection by X-Pac. X Factor connects. 1. Oh. Referee just, I forgot. China grabbed the ref. China going up top. Oh. She comes crashing down onto that top turnbuckle. China collapses into the ring. Triple H on the outside. X-Pac. Oof. Low blow by China. Look at Triple H's get-up, man. With the shorts. Pedigree by Triple H. There we go. Triple H hits the pedigree on X-Pac. 1, 2, 3. Shane McMahon wins. Shane McMahon wins. I think you should stream big football matches. Big football matches. What's the most underrated pay-per-view in your opinion? Most underrated pay-per-view. Most underrated pay-per-view. That's really hard, isn't it? The underrated is really hard because, like, how are pay-per-views rated? Do you know what I mean? Like, what I could easily say WrestleMania 5 because I love WrestleMania 5. It's the first pay-per-view I saw, but I equally I can't sit here and I don't know how people rate it. I don't know if people say it's a rubbish show, or if people think it's plus it's a WrestleMania, so it's one that I think people will be aware of. But when you talk about great manias, I think you talk about 30, maybe 31, 17, definitely 19. 5 very rarely gets a mention, but the main event is Hogan and Macho. I mean, Macho Man in a main event is insane. You've got the likes of like Warrior and Ravishing Rick Rudes. It's just a really interesting time as well because I feel like it's peak golden age, golden era. It's kind of, you've just got all the big hitters on that show. I love it. And it's kind of, it's after what I thought was a disappointing WrestleMania 4. 5 really brings it back. And actually, I might even say it's the best WrestleMania up to that point. Because 3's got Andre Hogan, but I don't think the undercard's that good. 2 I thought was quite disappointing. 1 is not that strong, but it's so iconic. 4 was just long, man, and dull. 5 I actually think is probably the best. First great Mania for me is 5. The best moments you could argue are in 1 has got loads of great moments. 3 is amazing, but 5 I absolutely love. Love. Of all the WrestleManias to like watch first, that was a real good one. It was a real good one. So I've got a soft spot for 5. I also really love SummerSlam 2020, which I know was just a couple of years ago, but I'm sure we give it like a 9 out of 10 or something. I'm sure we're really, really high on that show, and no one talks about it. Never gets mentioned. And it was during the pandemic era, which I hate. So, like, the fact there was a show in the pandemic era, but that was that good, I think it gets like 2. It's the show that Roman returns on, which is an amazing moment. I think you get 2 Asuka matches. Seth against Dominic is actually really, really good. You get Mandy against Sonya with the loser having to leave WWE, so big stipulation in there as well. It was just a really enjoyable show. If we went back and watched it now, it might not get scored as high. Maybe the reason it scored so high is because the pandemic era was so bad that so many of the shows were like, this is a 6, this is a 5. Like, it was just like, and then all of a sudden you get some that's actually decent. Like, now we might look at it and go, do you know what? That's about an 8, 8.25. But because it was pandemic, maybe we were like, oh my God, it's 10. So, yeah, that one is, I think, underrated. No one ever talks about it. It was only from a few years ago. Here's Michael Cole. Mick Foley, Mankind, backstage with Michael Cole. It's pretty funny attacking it. They jump him, so we got the corporate ministry. There's Undertaker. Look at the chair he's using. It's a proper plastic chair, but not one that folds. It's a proper unfolding chair. God, stop it. Ripping at the knee of Mankind. Right, here we go, Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn. Still competing, still doing stuff in AEW. Here it is, badass Billy Gunn. 23 years ago. Mr. Ass, badass Billy Gunn making his way down. You should stream NXT Black and Gold. It was awesome. It was awesome. 90% of AEW pay-per-views are overrated. Cliff said Mania 6 was my first. It's great. That's a great Mania as well. 99 No Mercy. Yes, this is No Mercy UK. WrestleMania 3 is one of the best in terms of image. Yes, I agree with that. Who do you think's the biggest dirtbag human being in wrestling? I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean really? Or like character-wise? Because obviously Jake has not had a great history. But then saying that, I mean, like, you know, Jimmy Snuka apparently killed his girlfriend. So Billy Gunn just cutting a promo. Suck it. I'm not going to say the lyrics. Good Brothers deals are expiring. Just tweeted, where done you see them end up? Where do I see them end up? I don't know. I wouldn't take them back in WWE. I was not a fan of them in WWE. I understand you could put them with AJ and maybe do something, but we tried that before, and it's granted that was under Vince, but it didn't do it for me. Good Brothers, just don't do it for me, man. I'm just not interested. If I was Triple H, I wouldn't bring them back. Not unless, like, there's, you know, AJ's really making noise, or AJ's got some really good ideas of how they could be used, because it just didn't work for me. NXT Black and Gold was awesome. Let me tell you, NXT 2.0, it works. NXT 2.0 is a success, says Messiah Yan. Billy Gunn in the ring. I'm right here. He's not. I had nothing to do with Mankind being attacked. It's going to be your privilege. Come over here. It's telling Teddy Long to come over. Do what you've got to do and raise my hand. Do what you've got to do and raise my hand. Here's Mankind, though. Mankind's music plays, and here he is. Mankind making his way down. He got attacked backstage. The one Billy Gunn was fun when WWE turned him face, says Dave. They will end with AJ in AEW, probably, says Billy. Kevin said the best surprises always sneak up from behind. Pep said, what is this? This is No Mercy UK. It was just a UK pay-per-view. It was an exclusive over here. And it was designed to sell pay-per-views, basically. It was something they were trying to get the British used to, so that they could then charge us loads of money in the future. And they did, obviously, do that. But before, like this, there wasn't many examples of us like having the pay-per-view model. So they gave us this show. As you said, this was not shown in America. I don't know if you ever get this show or if it's ever released. I've got to think. I mean, look, wrestling fans will have found a way, wouldn't they? And I'm sure it did get a release. And it is on the network now. But, yeah, I do love these little... I don't want to say hidden. It's not that hidden, but I do love these kind of shows. This is definitely my favourite era, says Wrestle with Andy. Everyone on the roster was over. The crowds were white hot every single night. That is true. That is true. And it does have that, you never know what's going to happen. You need to tune in to see how the stories kind of develop, because so much does go on. I don't know if you could maybe make the argument too much goes on, with so many, like, betrayals and attacks and things like that. But it worked for its time. CM316 said, let me tell you that the ref is Teddy Long, future SmackDown GM. David said, someone threw him a sock. Yeah. Kick again. been stomped down. Hulk, overrated wrestler. That's funny, says Sean. Random question. Did you like the Bushwhackers? Yes. And what was your favourite tag team of that era? Might be Demolition, you know. Might be Demolition. I'll tell you the names I'm going through my head. Steiners, Money Inc., High Energy, Head Shrinkers, Natural Disasters, Nasty Boys, Beverly Brothers were underrated. Beverly Brothers don't get the love that they should get. Beverly Brothers are awesome. Great wrestlers, great psychology. Really, really underrated team. And like they had the Genius as well, which always gave him like an interest. They were great. They were really good heels. They weren't my favorite, but I always respected the Beverly Brothers. They've never made Beverly Brothers Mattel figures. That would be cool. Yeah, Beverly Brothers. Oh man, awesome. Favorite would probably be Demolition. I'll go Demolition. It's kind of that late 80s, early 90s era. So I'll go Demolition. I just think the entrance gear looked cool at the time. Does not work now, as Karrion Kross found out. But looked cool at the time. And Bushwhackers, genuinely one of my favorite teams ever. I love them. And they can work as well. Used to be the Sheep Herders. They were known as the Sheep Herders, and they had a 5-star match. An actual Dave Meltzer 5-star match involved the Bushwhackers because they are actually really good wrestlers. But they were at the end of their career when they joined WWF, and they were obviously a comedy act. Way. And who didn't? Who's never done that? Come on. Everyone's done that. Way. Licking people's... I mean, as a kid, like, if you got licked by Luke or Butch, that's just like a dream come true. Wonder how many people they licked. How many faces at house shows and just recordings on TV and just, I don't know, meet and greets. How many people have they licked over the years? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Think about it. You wouldn't get away with it now. You wouldn't get away with it. But they were so fun. They were innocent. They came across like great, really good people. And they were just like fun, nice, cool. I mean, you knew they weren't the best team. But the frustrating thing is they could have been booked to have been a more credible team. But they were just the fun. I mean, listen, if you're at a house show, there's about 1 billion wrestlers that could come out that you'd get like no reaction from, that you'd be like, okay, you know, I don't think people are going crazy for Mideon. Yeah, I don't know people are going crazy for, you know, no offense, Droz. People like the, you know, there's been plenty of those kind of acts over the years. But when that music hit for the Bushwhackers, everyone was excited in that arena. I don't care if it's a house show, if it's what it is. Everyone's like, because you knew a good time was about to happen. You knew that like fun was about to enter and a different vibe was about to enter, and everyone would be doing that. So yeah, I loved them, man. I loved them. And underrated. I think they are in the Hall of Fame. I think they're in the Hall of Fame. But again, you know, it's nothing to do with the casuals, but I wish these teams like Beverly Brothers, like Bushwhackers, were shown more love. Do you know what? I've said this before. I would love if there was a regular feature on Raw and SmackDown that was like a superstar profile, and you showed, you know, just a couple of minutes, 2 minutes, little video package of some superstars you might not have heard of, and it could be a great way to advertise the network. So it's like, you know, this week on the network, discover the Beverly Brothers, the Bushwhackers, Adam Bomb. Like, just go through it. I don't want to keep hearing about Stone Cold and The Rock and John Cena and, Triple H and Shawn Michaels and the flipping big names that everyone knows and everyone has heard. What about those amazing, fun, awesome talents that are like, just, they weren't at the very, 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 very top? What about those ones that are like, we all grew up with and we all love, that, people really resonate with? Like, give them a spotlight, give them a segment on Raw or SmackDown. This week on the WWE Network, you can discover Wendy Richter. I don't know why her name came to mind, but the Mountie. The Mountie always gets his man. Yes, the Mountie. Rick Martel. Yes. Look, James, you can do him. We'll just lock James in a room and he can knock out a load of video packages. Yes, Rick Martel. The Mountie. Imagine if we go to Canada. We're going to Canada. We're in Canada. Where's the Mountie? Where is the Mountie? Why is the Mountie not backstage making sure that law and order is being kept in line? You could have, do you know what? You could just have a guy in the production crew and he could be like eating a chocolate bar or something, chucks the wrapper on the floor backstage, and then all of a sudden, like, they look at the wrapper, someone steps in front of it, you pan up and it's the Mountie, and the Mountie's looking down and he tells the guy to get back here and pick it up, gives him a bit of a lecture, shakes his head, maybe shocks him with the shock stick, like, don't do it again type thing. Walks off, saying like the Mountie always gets his man, and walks away. Yeah. Is that going to increase ratings? No. Is it going to increase my enjoyment of the show? Yes. Yeah, that would be sick. Fake Ross Vape said the sheep herders were feared hardcore maniacs. Yeah, they were involved in a lot of more extreme matches. And they're a very, very credible team. Very credible team. But I understand why WWE would not bring that to WWE. So the Bushwhacker thing was great. Bastion Booger. The sound effect they add to the Mountie stun gun is hilarious. They like pipe it over, don't they? Yeah, it is pretty wild. Have him stop Dexter Loomis from crashing cars. Greg the Hammer. Yes. Greg the Hammer. Still alive as well. I mean, it's one of them, innit? It's like Greg the Hammer Valentine is a legend. He's an absolute legend. I think he's in the Hall of Fame. At least he should be. I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look, actually. We don't need to wonder when we've got the internet in front of us. Greg the Hammer Valentine. It's got to be. It's got to be. He is... Yes, he went in 2004. 2004. Intercontinental champion, former tag team champion. Is he in the Observer Hall of Fame? Don't think so. Is he not in the Observer Hall of Fame? He's in Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. He was the most hated wrestler, according to Pro Wrestling Nearest PWI. He was the most hated wrestler of 1975, 1979, and 1983. He is ranked the 119th top singles wrestler, 119 out of the top 500, 119 for the PWI years. So basically that's like since it began, like going back to 79. He's just outside like the top 100. I mean, it's not, I know it might not sound amazing, but that is amazing. And it's like, we just never get to see them. It's out of sight, out of mind, isn't it? If you never talk about them or mention them, they don't feel like big stars. You could bring Greg the Hammer Valentine on now, and a lot of modern fans will be like, because you haven't done anything to educate them or tell them that this is a big deal. And that's the problem if you're not mentioning your legends. It's out of sight, out of mind. Shoulder up by Mankind. Did he get it up? The bell was rung. So the bell sounded, but Teddy Long says 2. 1, 2, and that's the 3. Botched ending. Timekeeper thought it was a 3. Teddy Long said it was a 2. Billy Gunn plants him again, though, and gets the 3. So Billy Gunn beats up an injured Mankind, an already injured Mankind. Do you remember Rick Martel, Shawn Michaels no-hitting in the face? Do you know what, though? What I don't remember is what that was on. What show was that? Let's have a look. No hitting the face. Oh, it was SummerSlam 92. SummerSlam 92. Do you know, it's weird. I don't remember it being on that show. Maybe we should have watched it again to reminded myself. I love the attire of Shawn there. That's my favourite HBK attire. That's white and red. And look at the Rick the Model Man in that pink as well. It's so great. Look at it. Oh, man, he's so crisp, isn't he? He's so flipping crisp. So good. Triple threat match. Zach Gowen and Maven are both legends of the ruthless aggression era. Ruthless. I can't say it without saying that. Ruthless aggression. Right, main event time, my friends. Undertaker versus Triple H versus Stone Cold. What? Daze, what is your favourite Undertaker, says Keaton. What's your debut Undertaker? Not the very, very first one, because he wears black gloves. Although, actually, I might go that one, because that is very quirky. I love that fact about him, that at Survivor Series 1990, he's got black gloves on. And then after that, he goes to the grey gloves. I think I'd have to double check, but that Survivor Series might be the only time he wears the black gloves. But yeah, he's got grey gloves afterwards, and I love that. I love that era of him, because you're just in awe of him, and I think people are still in awe of him later on. But like, this is where people are like, there's shots in the crowd of kids like, really you're still getting used to who is this guy? What is this guy? Like, what is going on? I love him in like the grey boot coverings and the grey gloves and Paul Bearer, and it's great. It's great. Legend Killer, shout out to you. I was at Survivor Series 92, second row, says Mark. I was 9. That's cool. That's very cool. I wasn't into wrestling then, believe it or not. I get into it after SummerSlam 92. Survivor Series 92 is when I get into it. So it's really unfortunate. Had I have been into wrestling like a few months before, there's every chance my parents would have took me to SummerSlam 92, but I'm not there. I'm not watching. I don't even watch it. It's not on my radar when it happens. You would think. I mean, they did a rubbish job of promoting that. I mean, they couldn't have, because 80,000 go. But it never got to me. I never saw any promotion for it. I never saw any adverts, or they were on kids' TV and all of this, but I must have been watching a different channel all the time. I don't know. But I never saw anything for SummerSlam 92. It was my cousin months later had to show me a videotape of like wrestling that got me into wrestling. I'd never seen it, so it's crazy to think that just months before they'd done a massive show in the UK. I didn't know anything about it, and I was their target audience. I can only put it down to the fact that there were, because I know they do interviews around that time. I've seen Macho Man on Kids TV and Undertaker on Kids TV as they're promoting, like, you know, the SummerSlam show and all this kind of stuff. But I must have always been watching a different channel. I must have always been on a different side. Undertaker making his way down. My best house show experience was first row, 10 years old, and Skinner yelling at me to shut up. That is cool. Edward says, Honky Tonk Man. Yes. Legend. One of the longest reigning IC champions, and such a great gimmick as well. Such a strong character. I think he's been on the out with WWE, because there's no reason why you wouldn't have him on those Legend shows. There's no reason at all. A legend of his stature to have one of the longest reigning IC title reigns. Like, there's no reason why we've not been seeing him at like Raw 25 and all that kind of stuff. So I think he's been on had a bit of a falling out with Vince. There's been concussion lawsuits. I don't know if he was a part of that, but I know there was a big falling out when the network started, because a lot of wrestlers used to get royalty checks, I think, from DVD sales, because if a DVD sold that they were a part of, I think there was a check that would, like, you know, they'd get a few pence for like, maybe not even that. Like, you'd get 0.1 pence for every DVD that gets sold because you were on it. And then once the network comes along, all of that ends, and some guys were making some pretty sweet money. If you think, if you're getting 0.1 pence from every DVD that gets sold that you are on, and you've had quite a long career, like, you're getting some nice checks. Add in, like, any, I don't know, merch that might have been getting sold or that you was a part of. I don't know, like, for Honky Tonk Man, what those would have been like. But even if it's just, I don't know, every 3 months you get a couple of $1,000. Once that goes away, you're going to be a bit miffed. So I think there's been a few times where people have got a bit upset. And I think that has resulted in quite a few of these legends being on the out with WWE and Vince. Triple H in charge now, though, innit? This has started that No Mercy foam finger. No Mercy foam finger in the crowd. They're fighting over by the entranceway. Little uppercut there by Undertaker. Smack Stone Cold. Stone Cold firing back on the dead man. Overcomes Triple H. See the pyro on the floor. Concrete floor here. No give on that. Knee to the midsection. It's concrete and it's steel railings. TNT in the UK. Good times. Who else remembers Foley and Terry Funk going off the stage in the dumpster, says Kevin. Yeah, that was against New Age Outlaws, I think, wasn't it? Part of me even thinks that might have been a WrestleMania. Feel like it was a big show. I remember Raw and Sky and Nitro on TNT on a Friday night, says Forever Red. Global video, best of WWE video, says Billy. It was free, only ran in the late afternoon. Before Cartoon Network. What are we talking about, Billy? TNT. Has it got its own station now? I think it's got its own station. So many channels now that are like just buried away on those like high numbers. I don't watch hardly any of them. Into the railings goes Stone Cold. Joe said, this is probably my favorite triple threat match. It's a fun match. I mean, look at these 3 competitors that are involved. It's amazing, isn't it? Big strike by Undertaker, and Stone Cold goes down. Got about 20 minutes left of the show. It's not the strongest show. It's like a house show. But it's just it's a fun one to revisit. As you said, UK only pay-per-view. And, strike there by Stone Cold. And again. Smashes Undertaker into that railing. Kick to the midsection by Triple H. Look at the giant WWF logo on the ring apron. Against the ropes goes Triple H. Duck underneath. Oof. Thez press. Thez press. Strikes by Stone Cold. Down goes Stone Cold. Undertaker wallops him. Big Time Baxter said Street Profits splitting was supposed to happen now under Vince. Triple H needing teams. Has the idea been scrapped for another year? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if they are going to have scrapped it or if they are going to look to get a bit more out of them. To be honest, I'd probably keep them together now. I'd probably keep them together. If we are going to do something with the tag division, I think I'd keep them. With Vince not really caring about tag team wrestling, you could have always got rid of them and it would have been fine. But I think I'd keep them now. That's just personal preference, isn't it? China on the outside, getting out of the way of The Undertaker. But TNT was its own channel in 98. Nitro was on around 9 to 10, same time as Raw on Sky Sports. Never watched WCW. It wasn't on my... It was on my radar. I was aware of it. But WWF for life, baby. We won. Yeah. Suck it. Suck it, WC Dub. Yeah, and all you WC Dub fans. Oh, we've lost. That's right. That's right. I'm throwing shade on WC Dub fans from 20 odd years ago. I'm gloating about our victory from 20 odd years ago. Classic Man United fan. Remember when WC Dub was on Cartoon Network and the Bravo channel? No, because I never watched it. I can't believe my favourite promotion has closed down. Yeah, it's closed down. It's Vince's now. Cartoon Network was on before. The dumpster match was Mania 14. Come on. Yes. Have you watched the Royal Albert Hall show? Yes. Couple of times. Can't really remember it. I think Andre comes out at one point, which is really flipping cool. To see Andre in the UK, and I know he'd been in the UK and he'd done UK shows. He'd actually done some really small venues in the UK before he went to America and was Andre, because obviously Andre grew up in France. So that meant he did Europe a lot. And it also meant that he did a lot of small shows as he was like, gaining popularity, gaining notoriety before he goes to America. So he does some pretty small venues in the UK. You could have seen Andre the Giant. God, what was he called? I can't remember what he was called. Let's Google it. I'm going to have to Google it. I hate Googling it when I sort of can get there. It's something the Giant. Farquhar the Giant. Let's have a look. Not Farquhar the Giant. It is... not listed. Oh, Normally they give you like alternative names at the top, and they have got some, but it doesn't actually have the one that I've heard for him when he was going around like the UK and everything. So I don't know, I have to have a read of this, which I am not doing now. But he does do some smaller like venues and everything, which is really cool. But anyway, cut a long story short, it is great to see him later in his career, like walking out in the UK. It's just a legend of that size to think he was here. It's just crazy. It's great to think here as well, even like someone like Stone Cold. But I mean, obviously, we knew that he would come over with tours and everything. But like, here's Stone Cold in Manchester at the absolute peak of the Attitude Era as well. Stone Cold getting in the ring, looking to cover Triple H. Triple H kicks out. Daze, I'm not a fan of this era, but I am watching this pay-per-view. I have to say, you and Dave have got me into it, so I know what I'm going to watch at the weekend. Well, probably Dave more than me, I would imagine, because, as I said, it's not an era that I'm crazy about, but it's an era that I recognize like its importance, and I understand what people like about it. I get why it's popular. I understand why it's popular. I have no ill will towards this era. But if I was sitting down and I was going to watch something, I'd go Golden Era. I'd be watching Andre, Macho Man, Hogan, Warrior, early Undertaker, like that. I'd be going that kind of era. But I get why people love this. Undertaker and Triple H working on Stone Cold's. Does anyone remember the Teletext page on Channel 5 that used to give you weekly news? I don't remember that, no. I remember Teletext and CFAX, and for our American friends that won't know what that is, when you had a TV here in the UK, you used to be able to press a button, and it would go like black screen, and then text would appear. It was kind of quite big text. And if you wanted, and it was like news articles. So if there was some news, they would say, type page 235 to read the article. So you'd put on your remote control 235, and then it would take you to that page, and that page had all the info on it. So, if there was breaking news of something, you could go to Teletext and click Teletext, type in breaking news, blah, 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 235, and then text would come up and you'd just read, what was going on. It was always the articles were never that long, because I don't know if there was like a limit on how much they could put on. So you were only really getting overviews. But there was a lot of that's where people used to look for cheap holidays. They did loads, sports scores. If you wanted to know the sports scores, you could go there. Competitions. There was games as well. I remember there being games. That was cool. Games were cool. I remember there being there was I remember that there was something that was, you pressed the reveal button and it would show you so it'd be an image, block, kind of horrible old school image. And then you press a reveal button, or you'd press a code 103 or something, and then it would reveal something. It's really hard to explain because I'm only partially remembering it myself. But yeah, I remember looking at it, you'd see an image, and then you'd press this button, and then it would reveal something, and then you'd took your finger off the button, it would go away again. That was all on Teletext. That's when I was young. I'd have to look into that. I'd have to look into that. I remember using CFAX for football results, says Dave. We had nothing like that. It's pretty cool for its time. It was, honestly, really cool for its time. I don't even know why we had it, to be honest. I don't know how we got it. It must have been a technology that was kind of discovered over here. And so, they were able to roll it out. But it was pre-internet. And obviously the information was kind of coming through the airwaves. I don't know. I still don't get how it's witchcraft. That's what it is. Flipping witchcraft. Do you know what? I'm talking about it. I can easily show you. I can easily find what one of the teletext pages looks like. I know it might not be the most interesting thing in the world, and we are still watching this. But I feel like can't really do it justice by just talking about it. Might as well just show. Ooh. Might as well just show. There we go. $1974 to 2012. That's when it ran. 1974 it started. Put that into context of when the internet kind of came in. 1974. This was it. Look. So on your TV, you would press a button. It would go to a black screen, and then you'd get this. So, you know, if you want key events from this day in history, type in your remote 143. I never went to the radio. I don't know. I never knew that, actually. But if you want the lottery results, 555. If you want some information on music, or you could press like the coloured buttons to get it. Weather, TV listings, travel, sport, news roundup, news headlines, chess. Could you play chess on it with 568? Game station as well. Like, I don't know what's on that. Oh my god, I am so gonna end up going down a flipping CFAX hole, aren't I? What was this? What was a CFAX game station? Game station. Both guys are down at the moment. I think it might just be game news by the looks of it. Oh, that's disappointing. I thought it was going to be more than that. Yeah, game news. Yeah, I am so going to end up going down a flipping wormhole here. See, facts chess. I want to look at that now. No way, man. I didn't know. Fun and games. I remember that. Bamboozle. Chess. They had Sudoku. God damn. God damn it. Digitizer, chess, bridge. I really want to find that reveal thing. I really want to find what that was. Save image. Undertaker has got Triple H, picks him up, slams him down. I remember that. This was a week before Owen Hart's death, yes. This is the chess, look. I mean, it's mental, isn't it? I don't really get how you do it. I mean, obviously the P's are pawns, rooks are rooks, king, queen, bishop, knight. Why is knight an N and not a K? Why is it an N and not a K? It's not spelled knight as in N-I-G-H-T, is it? It's a knight as in K. N-I-G-H-T. Perhaps it didn't go up to... I don't know, actually. Stunner! Oh, here's Shane McMahon coming down. We got the corporate ministry on their way. See, again, to me, this is part of the Attitude Era I hate. Just a match going on and look, just now you've got people interfering. So they're all pounding away on Stone Cold, the corporate ministry. Shane McMahon choking him. Here's X-Pac, Kane making his way down as well. X-Pac gets in, starts unloading on Farouk. And Bradshaw. China on the outside. Here's the Brood. Brood have made their way down now. Brood are stomping away on Triple H. It's just carnage. It's absolute carnage. Carnage in Manchester. Big right hands. Right hand by Mick Foley. Stone Cold is down, headbutt by Kane. They're kind of heading up the entranceway. It's left Triple H and Stone Cold alone in the ring. Kicks by Stone Cold. Right hands by Stone Cold. Driving Triple H back. Against the ropes going Stone Cold. Helmsley with a big knee. Both of these guys have got knee braces. Shane McMahon's ex-Punk. The U on the Punk is starting to peel off. Best boxer of all time, Mike Tyson. Prove me wrong, says Kevin. It depends how you want to judge it. I think Mike Tyson has got great skill. Obviously, incredible ferocity. I don't know that he would beat... If you put Prime Mike in with Prime Ali, I don't know that he beats Prime Ali. Kick to the midsection by Stone Cold. Oof. Stunner. Bang. Another stunner. China gets stunned. Austin wins. Austin stuns China. Stuns Triple H. Undertaker's gone off with the corporate ministry to help them brawl. Anyone been banned on accident? Any concerns or questions? Feel free to ask. Rocky Marciano, great shout. It's kind of regarded as number one. I think didn't AJ mention Rocky Marciano? He was talking about how he's people say like he should go 12 rounds, he shouldn't gas out. He's like, I'm not 14 stone, I'm 18 stone. It's hard for me. Shane is slumped in the corner. X-Pac comes over. Mike, defending Ali shows his class, but one-on-one, if it happened in the first 4 rounds, Mike would get it, says Kevin. Roy Jones Jr. is pound for pound. Prime Fury, I don't think Prime Fury's the best. I like the Rocky Marciano shout. I like Rocky Marciano. But I'll be completely honest, I haven't seen enough of him. But I know he's regarded as the greatest. Obviously, Ali. But yeah, I mean, look, Mike Tyson's in the conversation. Absolutely in the conversation. But I tell you what would be interesting. Prime Fury against Prime Tyson. That would be interesting. Stone Cold wins. Stone Cold wins. Number one boxing goat is the Brown Bomber Joe Louis. Everyone knows that, says Charles Dubronx. Joe Louis is certainly up there. I don't know, it's debatable, isn't it? It's debatable. There's a lot of people that would... I find myself leaning Rocky Marciano, I have to be honest. Double stunner! Double stunner! Down goes Triple H. And down goes... Oh, the clock stopped. There we go. What? Shane and Triple H both go down. Stone Cold has grabbed a couple of beers. Felt like it needed to spice up the chat. Were you one of the fans that watched WWE and you preferred it, but you were still intrigued by NWO, Goldberg, and Sting? Yeah. I was definitely aware of what was going on over there, and I definitely would acknowledge there was some really cool stuff they were doing. But in all fairness, Sting had been on my radar since I first got into wrestling. When I first got into wrestling around 92, 93, WWF was like not on TV, on terrestrial TV. And so it was on Sky. So if we didn't have Sky, so there was no way of me like flicking through the channels and watching it. Now, obviously, throughout its history, that it's been on free TV and there's been different shows and things. But around that time, WCW were. So I can remember, I feel we've had this conversation before. Saturday or Sunday, one of them days, WCW was 100% on TV. Don't know if it was Channel 4. Don't know if it was ITV. I really don't know. But I would go around my grandparents on one of those days and round my grandma's. And my parents would be chatting to them in the other room. And, I'm a kid, so I'm in the back eating sandwiches, drinking tea, and watching TV, watching things like Thunder in Paradise, Knight Rider, A-Team, Columbo, Baywatch. These are the kind of shows that would be on TV in the kind of early mid-90s on a Saturday or a Sunday in the daytime. Those are the kind of shows that would be on. But I remember that WCW was on as well, and it was WCW from Universal. And was it Universal or Disney? I think it was Disney, wasn't it? Disney MGM. And I remember seeing a lot of the characters you look at and they don't really resonate. Like if I had seen Lord Steven Regal, it wouldn't really, you know what I mean? But you see Sting and you never forget seeing Sting. The face paint is amazing. The blonde surfer Sting hair was amazing. He was so cool that I remember seeing him. On TV, and straight away I was like, oh my God, he looks cool. He looks cool. He looks awesome. I was really intrigued by him. So he'd been on my radar since I'd first been a fan. But obviously, you watch and you hear about different bits and bobs, but I was not tuning into WCW, no. I was not tuning in, week out at all. But I was still aware, because if you're into wrestling, you're talking to people about wrestling, and then obviously other conversations come up and whatever. So, it was definitely one that I had an appreciation for, but it's not one that I would watch. My guys won. Simple as that. My guys won, and if your guys didn't, then I feel sorry for you. Suck it. I need some fly spray. I should have some. Oh, there it is. That massive fly is actually on this banana peel. Got him. Right. So yes, done. Done. So, put in your scores. What did you think of that show? It was a house show. It was exciting for the UK crowd if you was there. In retrospect, I don't know how great it is. Because it's obviously got a lot of names that don't really resonate anymore. I think there's a lot of brawling. It's no title changes or anything like that. I don't think there's anything massive that happens. Corporate ministry are all over this thing. I think this was something to get the UK crowd into kind of buying pay-per-views. But isn't it funny to think that in 1999, that is what a UK pay-per-view looked like, and that is obviously going to get blown away by what they will do at Clash at the Castle. Absolutely blown away. So you can see why they say we've not had a major pay-per-view since SummerSlam 92, because you certainly can't count that. Please acknowledge, surprise, surprise, and Crystal Maze as prime Saturday night television. Acknowledged. But only, Wrestle with Andy, if you will acknowledge that Noel's House Party and Generation Game, which was hosted by Bruce Forsyth, are also prime Saturday night television. Because I can't imagine not watching those shows when I was young. And I miss those kind of shows. We don't really have those kind of shows anymore. On a Saturday night, we've got a lot of Strictly Come Dancing, like Dancing with Celebrities, Masked Singer, things like that. Suck. I hate those shows. But instead, we had some really fun, proper family entertainment Saturday night kind of shows. Well, I understand Masked Singer's family entertainment, but it's all talent contests and stuff now, isn't it? That sucks. Not interested. Not interested if you can dance. Not interested if you can do all this kind of stuff. I want the Generation game. That was good. Gladiators. Don't forget Gladiators. That's coming back, isn't it? I've heard rumors that's on its way back. I did used to love that. Blind Date. Yeah, Blind Date. Arnold said, I had the Sting WCW figure. It was a Galoob, I think. Yes, Galoob. Crystal Maze wasn't the same when Richard O'Brien left. Agreed. Legend Killer says 6.5. Shakeem says 7. American Gladiators. What's that? I do know of it. Well, I've never seen it. I've actually seen, I think a video game came out on it. So that's the only thing I've ever seen from American Gladiators. I'm guessing that's where we got it from. Unless we did it first and you copied. Did you? I don't know. But we might have copied you, I don't know. But ours was just called Gladiators. It wasn't called British Gladiators. And it was in Birmingham. It was at the NIA, in the National Indoor Arena. So, yeah. Nick Aldis is going to be on the new version. Is he? Is that true? He was on the old version. Are they bringing them back? Oh my God, I need to have a look at that. Is he really going to be on the new version? Gladiators UK news. Gladiators to return as new contestants will test their strength and agility. This was about 3 weeks ago. The show saw members of the public battle it out against a cast of bodybuilders and gymnastics known as Gladiators. It was axed in 2000. The show saw spin-off revival in 2009, but it only lasted 2 series. It's unclear if original Gladiators will return, including Wolf, Jet, and Lightning. Everyone loved Jet. I think even I loved Jet when I was young. I think even I could recognize that Jet was quite the looker. Wolf, everyone hated Wolf. Do you know what? Wolf was amazing. I've got a picture here, actually. I'll show you this picture. I don't know the one in the middle, you know. I actually don't know who the one in the middle is. But, yeah, everyone in the UK knew who these... no, not that. Is it that one? No, definitely not that. Where's my picture gone? Where's my picture of the Gladiators? I want my picture of the Gladiators now. Oh, it's downloaded it as an AVI something file. I don't even know what that is. Hang on. Gladiators UK. Gladiators. Nicole, this was a Gladiator. I want to find a good one, though, that's got Jet on. There's Jet and Wolf. I want Jet and Wolf. Jet and Wolf. Bear with me. Jet and Wolf. I can't find a picture that's Jet. Oh, there. I found a picture that is just Jet and Wolf. But in all fairness, these are the only ones you need to see. Gladiators. Right, hang on. Change that over. Oh my God, where's this picture gone now? I know you're just staring at CFAX. I know this is not the proudest moment in my streaming career, but it will hopefully be worth it one day. We'll look back on this moment and laugh. Right, okay, I found Wolf, so at least I can get CFAX off the screen. Here's Wolf. There he is. There's Wolf. He was so hated. Because the thing with the Gladiators was that they were obviously trying to stop people from, winning money and winning the show. So, yeah, he was like always like the crowd were booing him. He proper healed it up. He would have made a great wrestler. I don't know if he could wrestle, but he definitely could interact with the crowd and get them booing him and everything. He loved it. So that's Wolf. Who's that? That's Wolf. How dare you ask who that is? And there's Jet. Everyone loved Jet. Everyone loved Jet. She was super. She was very popular. Very popular. I think if you used to ask most people what the most attractive gladiator was, they would say Jet. And if they don't say Jet, they're lying. So, yeah. Wolf was my favourite. Jet. So look at that, David. Oh, it's happening. I remember all of them. That's how old I am, says Dave. Wolf looked like Dio. She is hot, says Sonny. Did you say that he wants to do a trilogy? I did, yes. Forever Ed said Jet still looks good now. I can't say I've seen a picture of her, but I can totally believe it. I can totally believe it. Yeah, I was looking, wasn't I, to see if that was true about Nick Aldis. He was in it, but I don't know that he's coming back. I did read. Apparently, it's going to be a huge return as well. Iconic game show Gladiators, which was huge during the 90s, is going to return on BBC One. Each week, the public competed against bodybuilders and gymnasts. It's going to be in Sheffield. Why? Why is it not in Birmingham where it was before? The show had various spin-offs in countries such as Australia, USA, Finland, and South Africa. Does that mean that it's actually originated here? Interesting. Well, I can't see anything about who's going to be the gladiators. Can't believe it's being filmed in Sheffield. Flipping sucks. BBC offer Holly Willoughby big money to host Gladiator relaunch. They're going big for this, then. A source close to the 90s says this is going to be a big deal. Okay. Right. We don't get mascots like Mr. Blobby and Zig and Zag anymore. No. AJ is going to be a gladiator. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Yeah, he's gone from being heavyweight boxing champ of the world to now he's going to be on the reboot of Gladiators. In Sheffield, that's near me, says Dave. Should be in Birmingham. We get nothing here. I mean, what has Birmingham got apart from the UFC welterweight champion of the world? Love it. Are you continuing with NXT now? Well, I can't say yes or no on that because I genuinely don't know. But I can certainly tell you we're doing it on Tuesday. They will probably be Dwayne. They want to host it. What, The Rock? I don't think they'll get The Rock. Right, yes, I think we're done. Right, thank you for joining us for this chilled Sunday stream. I am going to go and set up the Raw streams. I need to try and download Discord on this computer. Change a few bits and bobs as well. I still need to figure out, because I don't know if you saw or if you noticed, but the audio seemed to get out of sync with the visual for the SmackDown post-show review, which is really annoying. Because that one actually did really well. I was really pleased with how many people seemed to watch it, interact with it, and I was like, "Wow, yeah, this is great. This is exactly what I was hoping it would do." And then you look at it and you go, "Oh my god, people are just going to think I'm an idiot," which is fine because I pretty much am. And I need to figure out why that went wrong though. The audio out of sync with the picture. Which kind of really sucks. But so, yeah, I've got things that I need to sort. But I really appreciate you joining us. Listen, chilled Sunday. I know we weren't totally just fixed on the show, but we just go where the conversation goes. I do want to do regular Sunday shows. So this could be a regular little thing. And I'm really, really thinking, I don't know how good of an idea this is, but I am thinking of having it be like a call-in thing. Because I can use the Discord to let people go into the voice channel They can go in, they'll be muted, I can unmute them, and then you're on the show. And then it could be like, how you doing, buds? I'm good. What's your question type thing? Like a radio call-in. And then they, you can share theories, ask questions, do whatever, Just have a general chit-chat, but I am thinking of doing that. Might take a while to set it up. But, I don't know if that's something that's happening already out there. I'm sure it is. But it's certainly not anything we've done before. I have started doing it in member streams, and we have started doing it on the Wrestling Escape Pod. But I am looking at doing something on a Sunday. I think there is an opportunity there. So something for the future. But for now, I appreciate you joining us for this. And as I said, we will do, I don't know if Edward's around, we will do KSI on Saturday because there is no UFC. So that's another announcement as well. So I might as well set that up tonight as well. So more work for me to do. So awesome. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. I'm going to go off to do all of that. And of course, find out a bit more about CFAX. But I will see you again next time. Bye for now.